Welcome to the Forum, your way to keep up with state and community leaders, experts, and local business leaders. This is your chance to hear from and talk to people that affect your life right here in Rim Country. You can express your opinions by calling 474-2427. And remember, the comments and opinions of guests and callers are not necessarily the opinions of KMOG. Welcome to Rim Country Forum. Well, good morning. Mike Farrell here with you. I'll be your host this morning. And the forum sponsors, Banner Health and Payson Medical Center, Dana Law Group, Pinnacle Propane, Realty Executives, Arizona Territory, Sunshine Cleaning and Restoration, and the Owens Law Firm. And good morning to our mayor, Tom Morrissey.
Good morning, Michael. Good morning, all you listening out there.
Busy weekend for you?
That's an understatement, Mike. Yeah. It's been probably the craziest weekend I've had since I've been mayor. But it's, necessary. And, we're trying to keep everybody informed. And I'm going to say a big thank you to KMOG because you are doing things in real time and helping us to get out the word. And that word is very necessary. That it's very, very necessary we get it out in a timely manner. And
because
thank you.
Everything keeps changing too. So
yeah, that's what's happening. I was at the evacuation center, the housing center yesterday at the school, and I talked to everybody that would talk to me, and
that would talk to you.
Yeah. And they see me coming and they go the other way because we get engaged in these conversations, but. I'm trying to empathize with them. I mean, these are folks that have been, their entire life has been turned upside down. It's temporary, but it's a dramatic change. And I think it's incumbent on all of us who are here, are blessed to be in Payson and not in Strawberry or be in the same situation as Strawberry and Pine.
We very easily could be.
And we very easily, very easily could be,
Knock on wood.
But there, but for the grace of God, go we, and all that. But trying to reassure them and let them, we're in this together, and we're working this out together, and the community is amazing. I mean, yesterday a group from the Valley showed up with $2,500 worth of food,
wow,
clothing, and little comfort items, and I mean, out of nowhere they showed up.
Now, we don't have that many people at the evacuation center right now, only about 24 or something yesterday.
Well, at the evacuation center, but then there's you have people in campers over across from us.
At the event center.
The event center is where most of them are, but we have them scattered throughout town. There are some in Walmart. There are some over at the Home Depot. But the town has opened its heart and our resources to them. But there's a lot of confusion about. Like people want to bring food for the firefighters, and they want to bring supplies for the firefighters, and they can't accept it.
Yeah.
Now the reason is because the food has to come from a bona fide source, and like the water and things like that.
Right.
Because if for some reason there's a contagion in the food and there's food poisoning, it takes everybody out of the act.
Sure.
So, but everybody wants to help, and they want to express their help. They want to be part of this thing, and that's something that is so encouraging. But that's Payson. That's what happens here,
right.
and that's what makes us so special.
But you know what you can do to help the firefighters? Do you know what they appreciate the most?
Donuts.
Yesterday,
from a bona fide donut maker.
According to Mike Reichling, the information officer for Incident 1 team up there that is working on this fire, he said they love to see those signs. Thank you, firefighters.
Oh.
that are put up. A lot of businesses will put those up, on their, if they have a little sign that scrolls or whatever. And a lot of people just stand along the roadway with a big poster that says "Thank you, firefighters," with a big heart on it and stuff like that. Yeah, they see that and they appreciate that.
Yeah,
True.
so I just passed the signs at the roundabout.
Really?
Is that right?
Right across from Home Depot. Says "Thank you, firefighters." I mean, and they're handwritten. They're handwritten signs.
Yeah.
So and that's the important thing, and to keep everybody involved, because in unity there's strength, and this is happening. How many crises have we dealt with? Certainly since I've been here. I mean, think about the major snowstorm, the pandemic, the bushfire. And now this fire, and who's been here, all the time, on it all the time are you guys, KMOG. So you're a very, very important part of this community, and I keep saying this because people have to understand that without you, I wouldn't have the ability to come in here and pass the word. Without you welcoming me and allowing me on the air.
They'd have to believe everything they read on Facebook.
On Facebook or other printed media. But the thing is, this is real time. And I know you probably get tired of hearing me say it, but the folks out there need to understand that this is where you go. That you come to KMOG for the latest information, and having this resource is so incredibly important that it goes without saying. Steve Christensen, our county supervisor, is back here.
Good morning, Steve. You're just hustling from a meeting, right?
Yes,
and
good morning.
All that, and I appreciate your
Thanks
stopping
for your
by
patience.
too. We'll see how much trouble we can get into today. You can't hear anything. All right, well, we'll get that fixed. And we are going to find out, I think Kevin McCully, our fire information officer, is on the way.
He's on his way. Yeah,
and he has all the details on the overnight and the acreage and all that kind of stuff. We're going to wait on that until he gets here.
There hasn't been much movement in the fire, but I want to leave that up to him to discuss, and Steve, because there's more than milieu. What I'm here to talk about is the town and so forth. But I don't know, Steve, if you can hear in the headphones. Make sure they're hooked up.
I suppose you can hear me. I can't hear anything in the
we can.
okay.
All right.
No, it's come through now. I think.
It should be working there. All right, we have a caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on.
Actually, I was trying to find out who I can talk to about letting some RVs move into Star Vale Mobile Home Park or Ponderosa in Star Valley. We've got 16 spaces available for them.
Okay. Well, the fact that you're announcing it right now will help. But so you're talking about Star Valley, and there you have spaces available. I will pass the word.
And that's for evacuees you're referring to?
Evacuees, 13 of them are 55 plus, and the other 3 are family parks, family spaces. They do have to be self-contained. We have no utilities for them, but we're not charging anything either.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Another example of the community in action.
Okay, let's get that written down here. That's Star Vale?
Yeah, I'll give you a phone number. They can just call me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
My name is Jim, and the number is 480-349-7931.
Let me read it back. That's Jim, 480-349-7931.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. That's an amazing offer, and we really appreciate it. I know the folks that'll come in there will, too. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what we do. Thank you.
I bet that's what you do. Thank you.
Okay. And Steve, do you have anything, information on what's going on with the fire?
Well, the information that I have so far this morning is that the fire is at now 33,000 acres, and most of that growth has been on the west side and the north side of the fire. There's been very, very little movement toward pine or strawberry.
Oh, good.
As of yesterday and last night. They have cut some very significant dozer lines all around to prevent the fire from coming up Hardscrabble or Fossil Creek and that. So Pine and Strawberry are being very fortified at the moment. Now, they have not backburned. They're prepared to backburn. They feel right now that it's not the proper time, that they don't have the ability to backburn safely. And so they're not doing that yet. And so
that's got to be kind of tricky.
It is. It's not
because you got to depend on the wind.
They have to be very careful how they do that, or they could actually start
make it worse. Yeah.
Other spot fires, and they certainly don't want to do that. So.
Okay, well that makes sense.
And I might want to add, folks, you're going to see a lot of firefighters in town.
Yep.
A lot of firefighters. That does not mean that Payson is in danger.
Right.
The firefighters are here. They're staging and they're going and fighting the fire. But this is where they're resting up and they're getting regenerated. But the more firefighters you see, the better. The better.
Again, better reason to have those signs out there.
You betcha.
Okay.
Betcha.
Caller, you're on the forum. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Okay, this is Manny, and I got to say, thank God we got those firefighters out there. Looking at those pictures, I'm really surprised that Strawberry didn't get touched. I mean, it's amazing, and them guys are doing a great job.
Sure are.
The radio station, thank God for you guys. You guys are doing a great job, too, and Mike, you got to be getting wore out. And Mayor Morrissey, I had my doubts in the beginning, but after the COVID-19 stuff and this pandemic and now this fire, you're number one in my book, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
That's all I needed to say. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manny. And there you go. So we are, at this point, no worse off than we were yesterday.
No, maybe even better. They have been really hitting aerial attack along what's called Dead Man Mesa and the Hardscrabble area to keep it from dropping into those areas. That's very little growth has occurred there.
That's with the air?
With the air.
Retardant?
And dozer lines. So I don't know the extent of all of those, but there's an awful lot of people right now in the actual town of Pine and Strawberry, firefighters, tankers, hotshots. They're there. They're fully equipped. They're fully manned in those to combat any fires that may start up in that area.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to keep in mind that the allocation of the equipment is on a national basis, right, Steve? That's what we got at the briefing this morning. We're getting briefed every morning at 8:00 by the incident commander, and that's we're carrying that information here to KMOG as the most current updates that are available.
That's fantastic. As a matter of fact, it's like we're going to get at least what we know to be the truth out there right now. And,
yes.
And that is important because there are a lot of rumors going around that just aren't true.
Yeah, and I don't know what those rumors might be, but on social media, that's a place where you might encounter some of misinformation. Mm-hmm. And it's changing minute by minute. Yesterday, we talked about the possibility of traveling back and forth from Pine, but that wasn't true. The information I got about that was not correct, and so we had to correct that. Right. It is a hard closure, and you're not going to be able to travel back and forth. There is a lot of fire equipment on that road right now, and they need to keep that road open.
Okay.
And
so people who decided not to evacuate, they're stuck.
Yeah, they're sheltering at home. They're not stuck. They could leave any time they want.
Oh.
But they won't be able to go back.
Get back. I get it.
Right.
All right.
And if they actually have an emergency, call 911. Mm-hmm. If you need something desperately, then call the sheriff's department and see whether or not they can assist you in some way like that. But if it's not of a most desperate need, then please just shelter in place.
Okay. And are we using the same dispatcher for the police and the sheriff's department now?
Yeah. Well, the dispatching is, I know what our PD is doing and what our fire department is doing, and there's a thing called mutual aid. that was true when I was in law enforcement, when we had the federal agencies, state agencies, and local agencies on what was called mutual aid, so that we could back one another up, and that is in effect. I do know they can back one. I'm not certain about the system they're using, but I do know that is in place.
Okay, good. And we have a caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on the forum.
I heard a rumor yesterday that Walmart called the cops and kicked out all the evacuees from Pine Strawberry. Have you heard any of that? Is that true?
I don't know that to be true. I haven't heard that rumor, but I do hear a lot of others. No, I don't believe that happened. If it did, it's going to be a surprise to me. I'll check on it, but I don't believe that.
Okay. Repeating, that's what I heard. So
yeah, I don't doubt that for a second, caller. And the thing is, the information that you gather will be in broadcasts like this. With Steve and I coming on board and passing on the information, but also there's an incident command group, and they are issuing the facts. And they'll be posting press releases today in different parts of the town. It'll be on social media. It will be released to the public. But that's what's happening now. That's it. You look at social media, and Steve showed me one thing that was on social media today. I mean, they're repulsive, and they're just not true. They're based on misinformation and people's opinion. The facts are coming from the professionals. Our police chief is in charge of this incident, and we are in support of that. So,
okay.
All right, sir. Thank you. And by the way, Mayor, the police chief is in charge of this whole situation,
yes,
right?
He sure is.
Well, then he would certainly know if they're kicking people out of the Walmart area or Home Depot.
Yeah.
Now, I went over by Home Depot yesterday, and I saw several police cars there, and they were knocking on the trailer door of someone. They had like 3 officers standing there. I don't know what was going on, but evidently they must have had a problem, complaint, or something. But I don't think they were evacuating people.
No.
Because Home Depot has been very welcoming. They've even, cooked hot dogs and hamburgers for the evacuees.
Home Depot and usually Walmart is the same. But the thing is, I mean, there are incidents that happen in policing that have nothing to do with this. So it's hard to say.
But that's how those things get started.
That's true. But also, they're going around updating people too. I mean, they're knocking on doors, and it may be in teams of 3. I mean, that may be why you saw 3 police officers there.
Okay, we've got a caller. Hold on. We'll be right back. All right, let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on the phone. Oh, yep, they couldn't hold on, I guess. Line's open, 474-2427. And anything basically you wanted to mention? Go ahead.
They will have, I think it's a public meeting. It's 5:30 tonight at the Payson High School auditorium. So if you'd like to be present for a briefing, they're going to have one, and that's at 5:30 tonight. Now, also, a lot of people don't realize there was a 1-acre fire out on the control road yesterday.
Yes.
And they got right on it. A lot of firefighters responded to it and kept it to 1 acre. So that was human caused. I don't know how it was caused, but anyway, it was not a lightning strike. And the reason it stayed that small was because they jumped on it right away, and also that area had already had fuel reduction measures taken on it. So those kind of things are very helpful to keep a fire.
That was off Control Road?
It was off the Control Road, just basically 2 miles to the west of Tano Village.
Yeah, I know that we were alerted to that too, and we finally found out what was going on thanks to you.
Well, thanks.
And we did get the word right away, and that was good news because that was scary.
Yep.
Well, and the other thing is that there are patrols. There are actually vehicles out there patrolling, and I understand that we had a patrol vehicle that was a half a mile from the fire. got right on it, and they got the resources there, and this is part of the strategy, Mike, that's going on is that they're playing chess instead of checkers. They're looking down the road. They're covering more bases than they have in the past. And I know, speaking for the town, having Troy Smith at the helm here as town manager is an incredible blessing, and we're seeing that blessing in action right now.
Okay.
As far as the town goes.
Let's go to the phones. Caller, you're on the forum.
Yes, I just wanted to comment that I'd like to see the Forest Service, with this drought the way it is, just go ahead and close the forest, because just like that 1 acre Dan caused, we don't need people out there right now, as critical as the dangers are. And I just wanted to comment.
Okay, and I think that your comment has been heard. Steve has contacted the Forest Service already. They are taking that up under consideration this week. So,
yeah, I heard they were going to have a meeting about it today, and I will stay on top of that.
Okay, so yes, we understand, and that probably, if it's going to be done, the sooner the better right now, because this situation is unprecedented. It just really is.
Yes.
Keeps getting drier and drier, and gosh, I thought we would finally have a little chance of rain, but it's so slight for our area here, Tuesday night and into Wednesday. But who knows? Things constantly change with the weather. Hello, KMOG, you're on the forum.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question. Why don't they shut the forest down and keep all these people from Phoenix out of here, since they're not going to put a bypass? What's going to happen when everybody's up here and we try to get out of here for a fire?
Okay, well, we just talked about that. You didn't hear that?
Oh, I didn't hear then. So
Okay.
what did they say? Are they going to shut?
The Forest Service is meeting about that right now.
Yes.
Okay, good deal.
They're considering that, okay? But you got to remember, too, that this particular fire that we are fighting right now, the backbone, was started by lightning.
Yeah.
And right now we have that threat of lightning like we do every year about this time. We have dry storms where you have wind, you have lightning, and very little rain.
And folks, nobody is taking this situation lightly. If everybody is involved in the science of the strategy, and I know it's really common sense for a lot of people to shut the forest down. That's controlled by the Forest Service, and we can encourage them as we do to do that. But they control that. And again, nobody's taking this lightly. Nobody's sleeping well at night. Steve and I can say that. And we're all trying to stay on top of it and stay as current, so that you understand what's happening, and so that you can make your decisions based on the information we provide you.
Makes sense. All right, caller, you're on the forum.
Yeah, hi. You were just talking a little bit ago about people being possibly pushed out of the Walmart parking lot. So I gave him a quick call. The employee didn't know, so she checked with 2 managers. The 2 managers said absolutely not.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Didn't think so.
The only time they make anybody leave is if they're partying and causing a problem for customers. And then the one party, whoever's the problem, will be asked to leave. Otherwise, no, they would never do that.
Okay, well, thank you for verifying that, and it keeps my faith in humanity, but it's good to hear that. Thank you.
I was just going to
Thank you
suggest...
very much for everything you're doing, for all the information you're giving us.
Okay. I was just going to suggest that somebody here give them a call and let's find out. But you beat us to it, and thank you so much, for sharing that with us. 474-2427. Our fire fuels manager, Kevin McCully, is in the studio. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for having me.
How you doing today?
Very well.
All right. Busy, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Quite busy.
So we already talked about a little bit about the acreage right now, 33,000. Any details that you have that you could share with us?
Well, I just got this information off the internet this morning. So the best place to find the fire information is through their Facebook page, NCWeb on the internet, those kind of things. They have a Twitter account also.
And we have a link to that on our website. If you go to KMOGcountry.com and hit that link, you can connect that constantly, and it's being updated.
So that's the best way to find the most current information. And I know people get frustrated with the time that it takes to get that information out, but you have to realize this is official information. This has been vetted. This is the truth that's being put out there on their sites. And so you have to be a little bit patient, because all this stuff is they work really hard to put out accurate information.
Right. And, think about it a moment. Everybody is really busy on doing their job, which is trying to protect your house and your belongings and everything else. And it's pretty hard to just stop and give you a report all the time on what's going on. I know I always found that frustrating, because people call us and they say, what is going on over here? I hear nothing but sirens. And you go out there and you see something's going on, but they're too busy to tell you what it is. We'll let you know when we get over this, when we get this situation solved. And I understand that completely. So, it has to be, and the Forest Service, I think, has gotten much better at getting that information out. That's why they have information officers now, which they never used to have before. And Mike Reichling, you probably know him. He was here yesterday sharing a lot of info with us, too, on what they do and how they're fighting the fire, who the commander is, how they select the commander. I find all of this extremely interesting, as it's going on.
A lot of behind-the-scenes information like that people don't realize. And, I know Mike, he's from Pine Strawberry, and I've worked with him quite a bit. And he drove all the way back from New Mexico, what was it, Friday night or Saturday, to be part of that team. And so that's another thing that people have to realize. They're still assembling people for that PIO position in the team to get that information out. So they're still working on spooling that up and getting everybody in place to get better information out faster.
Good. All right. Caller, you're on the forum. Go ahead.
Hi. I've been living in the Payson and Pine area since 1972. And being ready is not something new to any of us that have lived here for a while. And I just feel deep in my heart that, one, I need to thank not only all the firefighters that are fighting this fire, but all the sheriff's deputies that are out there patrolling the area. They're the ones that got everybody out. They're the ones that went door to door. They're the ones that put their life on the line also. And all the police people, all the emergency personnel that are out there fighting these fires and keeping us safe. And I personally want to thank every last one of them for doing their job. These people that, I want to go home. Be patient. Stay out of their way. Let them do their job so that you can go home. Don't argue with them. Just stay put.
Yeah,
it just bothers me that there's so many people complaining, I want to go home. Well, I understand that. I do. Just be patient. Let them do their job.
Yeah, thank you, caller. I really appreciate that. And they need to be going home to a home. So we need to let the firefighters do their job.
Yes, they do.
And caller,
everybody, and thank you for you guys keeping us updated.
Well, that's our job, and it's an honor to do so. But one thing I want to say about your comments is that there's a lot of common sense growing in your garden. Thank you. It's very common sense. Okay, thank you.
You guys have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye. All right. Common sense growing in your garden. I like that, Tom. Okay, the caller was just talking about the fact that you have to be ready at all times if you live here in Rim Country to evacuate, and you should have a plan, and you should be able to do it in 30 minutes. In other words, have your stuff all ready together. The most important things, think about it ahead of time, because at 2 o'clock in the morning, that is really difficult to try to do. Which brings up another point that I'd like to ask you, Mayor. We need more escape routes, and you've been working on trying to get that alternative roadway there from McCully extended through the event center and on to Highway 87. How's that going?
Well, we hit a hiccup in that because we're doing what's called a NEPA study on the roadway, so that we don't disturb any ancient ruins, especially from the Tano Apaches who have lived here for centuries. So we discovered some ruins, and that is being mitigated so that we can continue the progress of the road. The longest process is the NEPA study. But when it's done, we will have an added evacuation route out of town in the case of a catastrophic fire. We're burning daylight, Mike. We don't have time to play with things that we can make so. We can get this stuff done. And my job is to push it as hard as I can so that we can bring it into play. There's so many moving parts, though. Financing it, getting through this NEPA study and things like that. So that's an important thing. Now, the thing to keep in mind for everybody is there's no set evacuation route determined. We can't have that. That would cause confusion. What we need to be is alert and react to whichever direction, God forbid, a fire may be coming. And that would establish the evacuation routes. So the ready, set, go thing is critically important, as the previous caller stated. But the main thing is for everybody to be involved, and it's a natural process. Everybody knows what the challenges are. This is existential. If we have a catastrophic fire, everything we're talking about right now is moot. Doesn't mean a thing. That everything would be gone. But it's our job to prevent that and to provide the leadership and getting the things done that we need to get done. We've got to stop playing checkers. We got to play chess. We have to look down the road at the eventualities. Now, one thing that I do want to say before I stop my rant here is I believe it would be a great thing if we had a warning system surrounding the town. And we already have the places to put them on the water towers. That would be an audio and a strobe light system. If we're asleep in the middle of the night and we have a fast-moving fire, we're going to have a major problem. That's going to create a disaster. Now, I'm exploring getting those. They're $85,000 a piece, each one. So we have to find a way, Steve, maybe from the county to get their money. Yeah. Putting Steve on the spot, but we're looking at grant money, and I believe because it's a public safety issue. That's what we got to be doing. We have to be ready, and we have to realize the circumstance we're in.
Pine had that situation for a while. I know they had an alarm that they sounded off. I don't know if they still do that. Still have that? Do you know, Kevin? No, it's
no, I don't believe they do. My understanding from Chief Staub, who was their fire chief for a while up there, is the maintenance. I mean, like the mayor said, that there's initial costs, but then there's ongoing maintenance costs to that also. So it's a commitment to do that kind of thing.
Okay. And that also came across the information that the Pine area was rated one of the very highest in the risk of fire as far as all Arizona towns are concerned. And yet they've done a lot of fire-wise. Haven't they made a complete fire break around the town?
Yes,
I know they started that project.
There's a fuel management group there. They call it the Pine Strawberry Fuel Management Group, and I've met with them on occasions. And actually, I gave them some money to work with as well through my constituency fund. Right. So they're very active. They're very good. It's much more than just doing an initial clearing. It's a constant thing because that stuff grows back.
Yeah,
and so they're doing good. The Pine canyon, the Pine Creek Canyon, is considered one of the highest priority
or risk
dangerous,
areas,
highest
right.
risk areas in the nation. So but that doesn't mean nothing's getting done. There are plans to do some clearing and logging in that canyon. It's in the process. It hasn't started yet, but it is coming.
And there's two ways out of town, north and south.
Yeah, but there's only one way out of that canyon.
That's right.
So,
okay.
Their fuel management group is a very strong group. Mike Brandt is one of them. The leaders of that group. He's been around for a long time. A lot of people know who he is. They've been working with the Payson Fire Adaptive Community Committee also. We've been working really close with them. We have a very strong community committee in our town also, getting that ready part of that ready, set, go, underway and pushing that forward.
This particular ranking talked about, it's all based on topography, the area, the wind,
the
the
fuel
normal,
load, the narrow canyon.
Right. Where is Payson rated on that? Does anybody know? I mean, I don't have that at my fingertips here. I just saw the rating on Pine. It happened to be in the Arizona Republic on Sunday, but I just happen to wonder, where are we as Payson rated on that? We need to find that out. Not that it makes any difference. I'm sure it's probably fairly high. Let me check this line. Is someone on this phone line? Hello? Okay, I didn't think so. Okay, the phone, it's been blocked. The phone line is open up, 474-2427. There we go, people trying to get through. Caller, you're on the form. Go ahead.
How you doing? This is Billy Snyder again, and I called yesterday about the looting situation. And I was hoping that maybe you guys could see if anybody has been out there messing around with people's property, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are not there,
Well, we're not getting any reports of looting. Steve, are you getting?
No, the Sheriff's Department is actively patrolling both Pine and Strawberry, and I have not heard of any looting.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And one more thing, too, is I want to make a comment here. I know there's a lot of people under stress. I'm an evacuee out of Pine, and there's a lot of people here in Payson that are, obviously stressed out. And I would like to just get out there and tell people, like, hey, let's just be patient. Let's be polite, too. There's a lot of people that have attitudes. Obviously, there's more traffic in Payson right now. There's a lot of people just roaming around, at campsites, which I would like to give a shout-out to Houston Mesa Campground for giving me and these two ladies that I'm with, Cindy and Bee, camp spot. And, and Kenyon Cafe, hosting us and things like that people just need to be polite and be respectful. And this is one of the reasons why I moved up here, was because people are so awesome here. And a lot of people are just stressed out. And I just want them to know that, just be patient and let's be respectful and kind to people that are going through some stressful times.
Thank you for those encouraging words.
And that's true. There's a thing called empathy that is in pretty short supply, I think, at this moment. This is all part of a crisis. And when that whole mentality kicks in, so what you're saying is absolutely right. But my advice is, and I don't often take it myself, but my advice is if somebody says something that upsets you, take a breath before you react to it, and don't go to bed angry. Or if you're gonna write something on social media, write it, read it, and then delete it.
Yeah, that is another thing too. There, you get these people on these social media saying some rude comments. Or being just heartless on, the town's so quiet now, we like it like this from like 20 years ago. But, if you think about it, everybody's gone because we're all stressed out that our houses are going to burn up, And let's just have some kind words and some kind hearts, and let's be nice. That's why guys like me came up here to make a life, is because where I came from is not very nice, and it's just such a beautiful community, a beautiful state, And I just think that people just need to show some more love in this stress. And I know it's hard.
All right. Well, thank you for your comments, Billy.
Thank you.
All right. And yeah, he's right. Keep that all in mind. It doesn't help any to do that kind of thing. I like your idea of go ahead and write it, get it off your chest, and then delete it.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. KMOG, you're on the forum.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment on the Duke fire, which like 31 years ago this week.
Mm-hmm.
And people that had lived up here during that don't know the devastation of a fire that can just take 200 and some thousand acres, homes, Zingray's cabin, and lives of firefighters. And we're lucky that it hasn't burst into that yet with acreage, and our firefighters are doing a great job.
Yes, indeed, they are. Thank you for that. And don't be worried, as the mayor mentioned earlier, don't be worried now that you're going to see a lot more firefighters in the Payson area. They're just moving into the area to be working on the fire up in Pine Strawberry, so it's not uncommon for them to set up 2 camps or 2 command centers, so it doesn't mean Payson's in more danger or anything like that, so just
Right.
keep a cool head.
I've lived here 41 years, so I mean, I know quite a bit about it. And
Right.
Jim Paxton was in charge of the fire during the Duke fire. I had to sit down and talk with him. I learned an awful lot from him too.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. The Dude Fire, by the way, had 3 separate camps, if I remember right. They had one up on top of the rim. They had one out west on Highway 260 at one of the campgrounds out there. I think it's called Ponderosa. And then they had one at Mesa Del, a massive camp at Mesa Del, out in that large meadow to the east of Mesa Del.
That's right. And, that was started by lightning.
Yes.
And was started in a very inaccessible location.
Right.
Where they couldn't get people in the ground fast enough.
Moved very quickly.
And it was the first fire, I think, that we saw that did that crowning effect. Jumping
Yes.
from tree to tree like that.
It was very scary to be here.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I got a question here. Somebody must have called on a different line. Electric status in Pine and Strawberry. Is the power still on?
As far as we know, it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The
That's
power's
what I'm
still
hearing.
on. Okay, that was the question, I guess. If you're not up there, you're probably wondering,
Well, the briefing last night indicated that there's some line that APS shut down that is more in the Camp Verde area.
Okay.
That was way down there. There's a pretty big power line that runs down close to the river, the Verde River, and so the fire affected that area electrically.
That could be a real problem, I guess, too, for the people who evacuated. And if they lose power, the refrigerator and everything that they have in it is going to go bad.
As far as we know right now, and I have been in contact with a rep from APS, that they are keeping the power on, and if need be, they may be able to reroute power if need be, but we don't know what's coming.
That's probably another thing that you don't have time to do when you're evacuating is to clean out your refrigerator.
No, we need to keep the power on. As far as I know, that's what's happening right now.
Okay, great, and keep your fingers crossed on that. Okay, caller,
Hello.
Hi, you're on the forum.
Yeah, I was just going to tell you, I'm one of the folks that stayed up here in Pine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's that fellow that was so concerned about the looting. I don't think that's going to happen up here. And the group of people that are up here, we all look out for everybody's properties. And in the evening, we cruise through the streets and check things, and haven't seen any kind of negative destruction or looting or any of that. So just wanted to share that with the mayor and yourself. And we do have power and water, and it's all because of the guys that are up there on top fighting. So I just thought I'd share that with you. And thanks a lot, you guys, and I'll get off the line.
Thanks for that.
Thank you. Right. You know, that all goes back to when you come to looting, especially in this area, goes back to an adage that's been around for quite a while. An armed society is a polite society. So we're a different breed up here, and we'll take care of business if we need to.
And on top of that, the Sheriff's Department has a real presence up there. Yeah. They're checking everyone's ID. You can't even get into town without, being checked. People like the point that he's bringing up is it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody. They know if something's out of whack, if they see something that, you know what I'm saying, that's obvious, not a local resident roaming around, all they need to do is let the Sheriff's Department know. And I don't think that could even happen. So I think that's one less worry, Billy, you ought to have out there, is I think everything is being secure and being handled to the best of anybody's ability.
We have a great sheriff, by the way, and therefore a great department. They do an awful lot with not a whole lot of resources.
All right. Caller, you're on the forum. Go ahead.
If you ever had to leave your home, I'm sure you worry about losing. I mean, this would be only natural.
Could you speak up just a little bit? We can't hear you.
Well, I said that I understand things are taken care of, but a person would worry about their house being looted. I mean, if you leave everything you have there, you worry about it, that's for sure. The other thing is whatever happened to the guy on Arrow with the sprinkler deal that was made a big deal out of? How come he left?
Well, the reasons he left were somewhat because of zoning and different things like that. But he is still around now. Yeah. He is in Phoenix right now, and he does have those systems. And so I do know that the county, myself, has looked at those systems, and we're trying to figure out whether or not it's a viable approach to fire safety in a community. So what they are, if people don't understand what they are, is a sprinkler system that basically works like on a fence, or you build a fence, and basically it's a pipeline with sprinkler heads on it as a defensive means. And then you would have a water supply and you would have pumps. And so these sprinkler heads are really powerful, and they can shoot like 400 feet. And so if a fire is approaching a community, then you would have this defensive line.
Right.
Shooting at your home,
it just drowns the area with water.
And they also have mobile. They can pull them into areas where there are fires. That's Kent Hum is the person.
Yes.
And interesting thing about Kent, he's a great grandnephew of Buffalo Bill Cody. And he looks just like him.
He does.
He does. He looks just like him. And he is. But as Steve said, he is around, and he's ready to rock and roll. For lack of a better term.
Just a matter of implementing the system.
Yeah.
How many people, and how long does it take to figure out if we need that, if it's viable or not?
Well, the jury's still out on whether or not it is a viable approach. I think it is, especially in outlying areas. Along the rim, it would work pretty well. Along the south and western edges of Payson, expensive to put in, but it is
I would think on the evacuation routes it'd be pretty handy too.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
So it is in discussion. Let's just say that.
What about the thinning around town? Whatever happened to that with they had the goats and stuff that were. I mean, I know a little bit about fire, and at least the goats were taking that fuel ladder down. I thought they were doing a pretty good job, but then I was told that the Forest Service told them that they didn't want them out there anymore because they were having trouble getting them water or something.
There's been a lot of thinning around town that the Forest Service has done, and if you've been up north of East Verde Park recently, you can see some of that on the western side of the 87. And
I understand that, but I'm talking about Payson, immediate Payson. Like, is there anything like a set rule of where we're going to have a mile thinned all the way around town, or work on something like that, or I don't understand about telling people to fire away their houses, but defense would be not letting it get to the houses.
Yeah, if you look on a Google map, you can see the thinning areas that they've done, the Forest Service has done all around Payson. It is one of those things where they have to go back and maintain it, and they're at that point on some of those. We've also, like you said, we've been working with residents and property owners within the town to get some of our large properties mitigated also. So there is a lot of work going on with that.
Okay, and we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
The Dana Law Group will educate and guide you through the entire estate planning process. Wills, trusts, power of attorney, and probate representation. You know estate planning is important. Don't put it off. Having a proper estate plan means your assets will be dispersed according to your wishes. Consultation is free. The Dana Law Group, 431 South Beeline Highway. Set your mind at ease. Don't wait. Call them today, Dana Law Group. 928-445-4440.
Okay, and thank you for joining us on the forum this morning. We've had our District 1 Supervisor, Steve Christensen, who's really demonstrated that he's on the job and has been doing a fantastic job, Steve. And, you know, you have an advantage. You've been here 30 years. You know the area, and that is fantastic. Kevin McCully, you're rather new to our area, but you have the knowledge, the fuels experience, and all of that, and that was really good that the town has, you know, made the arrangements they have with you to be the your actual title is fuel manager. Is that what it is? Okay. And also our mayor, Tom Morrissey, who's kind of put this all together and has been so great at helping coordinate this information that he's getting out. Part of what you said from the time you first ran for election, and that is transparency and trying to get the word to the people of what's going on and not having them have to guess. And that's been great.
The transparency. When you have transparency, you don't have problems.
You got it. All right. Caller, you're on the forum.
Hi. I just wanted to let everybody know that if they reach out and call Mr. Kevin, the fuel manager, he will respond very quickly to come out and give you the information, look at your property, and because he did with us, and he came out the first time to give us information, and he was just out a couple days ago, took pictures, and now the only thing we have to do is get a hold of a team of people to come out and do the work and pay the money up front, and we're already on the list to be part of the grant to be reimbursed to get our property taken care of and get it fire-wise.
So, that's great. Was Kevin helpful in getting that done?
Oh, very helpful. So, I mean, everybody who lives here has to do their part, So, and I mean, we're newer to Payson, so if I can figure out that much, then people who have lived here forever, they should be able to figure that out. So all they have to do is pick up the phone and get with Kevin and do their part to help try to make the town safer.
Makes sense. Okay, thank you so much for your comment, and that is something to keep in mind. I know you came out here and took a look around here the other day, and I appreciate that also. And that at that point, you mentioned about money is available possibly, depending on the situation, to help with that. Well, we're all out of time. I'm sorry, caller, we didn't get to you in time. Remember to just jump on that right away when the program starts so that you can get through here, because the volume of calls, we're handling as many as we can, but the volume of calls has been extremely high on this issue. So thank you so much for listening. We're going to continue this all week long from 9 to 10 o'clock every morning. We'll have the latest on the fire, the conditions, because the meeting is at 8 o'clock every morning. And right after that's over with, that's when the information will be dispensed. And that's when we'll have it for you right from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Okay? So tomorrow We do it all over again on the forum, and it's brought to you by these great sponsors: the Dana Law Group, Banner Health, Payson Medical Center, Pinnacle Propane, Realty Executives Arizona Territory, Owens Law Firm, and Sunshine Cleaning and Restoration. You're listening to KMOG Payson.